Welcome everyone, my name is Navetz, represent my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this video today is brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. Here we are, finally into the replay. Let's take a look at Faceless Void. Now he does have the standard starting items, except for he went for the Iron Branch instead of the Fairy Fire. He will be laning against, we're going to also look at the draft very much so at the top right now. So seeing what his team that he's playing against is... don't need this so loud right now. Seeing what the team that he's playing against is, he's got an Underlord that he's going to be laning against. Now, if he looked at this, he would probably think that he's laning against an Underlord and a Underlord and probably a position for Tiny. What ends up happening actually is that they tri-lane for the Anti-Mage. So it's Underlord, Tiny, Anti-Mage, Witch Doctor, Queen of Pain. And then on his team, he has himself, Broodmother, Zeus, and Nature's Prophet and his support Ogre. Now Ogre is a very nice support to have for Faceless Void and enables him quite a bit. On the other side of things, we're gonna see First Blood go to the enemy team, which is actually pretty rough for him. But what we're gonna do is pay attention to Faceless Void. Like I said, the starting items opted to go for extra regen over the Fairy Fire. I do like the Fairy Fire better, as I was saying, but here we go. This is, I think, a high-level Immortal game in the European server, so I chose this one because I thought it had a good thing to point out, and that is... I thought this game had some good stuff to point out, and that is the item build in particular. Now we see right here, basically what Faceless Void is doing is he's bringing the creeps this way while trying to secure his range creep. He doesn't want to hit these too much because he wants to keep lane equilibrium somewhere around here. So Underlord's lane is going to push a little bit right now, and his equilibrium, the lanes are probably going to meet around here. Ogre's trying to kind of be a bully and tank up, try to force the Underlord around, but this is a hard lane, and this is typically what you see happening. You see one hero pull the creeps this way so they can pull the melee creeps towards their range creep, and then the opposite happens on the other side. The other melee creeps go towards the other range creep, and then you kind of split them. It's really hard to force Underlord out of lane, so we're going to look at this laning phase a little bit. It would be ideal if Faceless Void could kill him. He hasn't even leveled up a point in Time Walk or Time Lock yet, and that's because he was waiting until he got to, well, waiting until he needed one of them, whether he was going to make an offensive play against Underlord or if he was going to need to defensively Time Walk out of a Firestorm. And now he's just hitting him a lot, and with the understanding that he wants to Time Walk back. So he sees that there's more creeps in his wave than he's willing to fight, so he takes a little bit of damage, knowing that when he Time Walks, he'll undo that damage for the last 2 seconds. This point, he doesn't want to take damage now because Time Walk is off of cooldown for the next 24 seconds at level 1. And you have to understand, it's 24, 18, 12, and 6 seconds on the cooldowns, so it's really important to not waste your Time Walks frivolously. Like, you got to be conservative with them, especially in the early game. Now, last hitting under tower, he's going to do his best. Probably going to have to Time Walk off some of the damage, and Underlord's doing a really good job being a nuisance. He's just stopping him from getting some of the last hits. Void is taking damage from all these creeps now. He's going to probably have to consume more tangos, but we see his item build coming out soon, and our boy Ogre is doing a good job pulling creep waves to the large camp. Now the Underlord is going to come and Firestorm this, so this kind of is really good for Underlord. He's going to get a lot of farm out of this lane already at level 4, whereas Ogre's level 2 and Void is at level 3. He's forced to last hit under tower for a little bit of time, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Void is keeping the creeps from out of tower range, but again, he knows that he doesn't want to take a super high amount of damage. Brings this one under tower. I don't know, I think maybe he could have kept it here and waited for the wave, but then again, yeah, he risked losing it under tower. Not the greatest last hitting performance right there, but what are you going to do? Sometimes that happens. Now he's going to get this this Firestorm dropping on top of his creep wave and him, forcing him to continue hitting under tower. So our Underlord is actually playing really well. So it's nice to see the Underlord kind of forcing Void under tower, and we're actually seeing a lot of missed last hits under tower as well, which is, this is what you want to do if you're the Underlord. You want to force Faceless Void back, and our Ogre and our Void are actually going to want to try to put pressure on him because he is a solo hero. Underlord doesn't want to get himself caught. There's the stun. Now we're going to get a couple right clicks off. He's going to run under his Firestorm, and now he's going to try to TP out. Let's see if we get hit with a time lock. We do not get a lucky time lock bash, so that kind of sucks. And Faceless Void is going to try to maintain his creep wave right around here for now, because he knows that if he does that, well, I think he should have kept this one out of under the tower range as well. I'm going to call this a mistake right there. I think he should have kept his creep wave, the creeps out here with these creep waves meeting, so that he could have denied more of these creeps before Underlord got back. He would have just made it less risky for him to take that, to take those last hits under tower. But you know, it's whatever. Underlord's gonna come back anyway. It's not really gonna change the lane a big amount, so in the grand scheme of things it ends up not mattering. But those little things can kind of add up, especially if you're bringing a whole bunch of last hits under tower when you don't need to. All he had to do is kind of walk it in a circle and then attack the high HP creeps, while his creeps brought other creeps to low HP. But whatever, it's no big deal. We see stuff happening all on other sides of the map. There's lots of plays going down. The anti-mage is getting farmed. The Nature's Prophets trying to do what they can, but we're focusing on the Faceless Void, seeing him time walk out the damage from under a Firestorm again. Nice play. And at this point, the Underlord does have his Soul Ring. He does have level 3 Firestorm, so this is hard for them to fight under tower. But and there's also a huge creep wave here, so it's actually pretty hard for them to go on Underlord here. The more creeps that Underlord has around him, the more easily he can play inside of his creep wave, because it means that if they attack him, it means if these two heroes, the Faceless Void and the Ogre, decide to attack him, they're going to be taking a ton of creep damage. Now he has to be a little bit careful. Look at it, he's going to back up a little bit. Faceless Void is just picking up the last hits where he can, and we'll see what he's at in terms of last hits and denies. He's at 31 to 10. Anti-Mage is at 37 to 4. So, or 37 to 35 to 7. 32 to 11. Okay, so not so bad. Now we're gonna see an aggressive time walk forward. This is what I was talking about. He time walked out the Firestorm damage. He time walked out of it, undid the damage, came forward and made an aggressive play with the Ogre. So that's pretty much a perfect example of how you want to use Firestorm. If you can take damage off of yourself and make an aggressive play at the same time without risking your life, that is absolutely perfect. So that was a good play. And we're just seeing so many missed last hits under tower, but who knows? Maybe I didn't pick a carry player to watch this one on. But that's okay. I did watch this game beforehand in at 8 times speed to see if we get a lot of the good concepts that I wanted to nail, and we do get a lot of them. But our last hitting is gonna been you don't last hit perfectly every game. Let's just say that. I know I definitely don't, but it's still going underneath tower. That a lot of that has to do with Underlord as well, forcing him under tower. Like, what are you gonna do? Every single wave gets shoved under your tower. He has this atrophy aura as well, if he's close enough, to reduce the amount of damage he does by 5, 15, 25, 35% per level. So, or per level upgrade. And Firelord, Underlord is going to be looking to actually take this stack soon. He would love to be able to do that. I kind of want to see. So while Ogre was over here pulling it, I think it would have been good for Underlord to pull this wave into here, and then bring the creep wave, like drag the creep wave into Faceless Void's wave, and then he would have been able to Firestorm the whole thing. But that didn't happen. It just would have been a nice play to see, a good way for Underlord to get a little bit more of an advantage. Now they do want to take this stack. Somebody is pinging it, or Underlord is pinging it, but we're at level 7 and Faceless Void does have Chrono, so he's going to want to try to utilize that soon. It's going to be very hard for him to make a play on Underlord, but I think that they're going to make it happen soon. So we see the Firestorm, same play as before, undoes the Firestorm damage, and now he's going to start attacking the Underlord himself. Couple hits, and Underlord is just going to manage to get away. And he actually teleports right to the tower, so he doesn't have a lot of health on him right now. And this is a pretty dangerous place to be with no health. I don't know how he's gonna come back to lane in any way easily, so this is really good for Faceless Void. At this point, he should be considering making a play over here onto the Anti-Mage. If he can come over here and get Anti-Mage in a Chronosphere, it would be really good. He does want to go for his Midas though, so instead he's going to come forward, use his Chronosphere finally, catches the Underlord, couple lucky time locks, and he does get the kill. So since it's at level 4, it does the bonus 40 damage, it does 24% damage. The other great thing about time lock, by the way, is that it has a percentage chance to do the crits of your to proc your items, like your Mjolnirs, your MKBs, stuff like that. That's why items with passive procs are really good on Faceless Void, mostly because time lock does the double hit, and that double hit gives you the chance to proc it twice. Here we go. Now Void is going to try to just deny creeps that he can here. He gets rid of the range creep. Underlord, this is a weird lane because also Ogre really hasn't done a whole lot yet, and we've only been seeing a solo lane, so we're going to speed this up a little bit. You can see his item build here. He has the power treads, has the Wraith Band, is going to be going for the Hand of Midas next, and I actually do like going for the power treads before the Hand of Midas in this lane because Underlord is hard to be aggressive against, but with the power treads you have a little bit more damage. Now he time walks forward. We're gonna go on 1.5 times speed for a short period of time. Oh, Anti-Mage dies. So a lot of aggression, a lot of things happening on the other side of the map. And this side of the map, we're just gonna see Faceless Void play around here, undoes a lot of the damage. There is a Pit of Malice, and okay, with the Pit of Malice coming out, let's talk about the item build that Faceless Void's gonna have to go for. So we have to consider how many roots, how many stuns, how many disables, how many silences are on the enemy team. We have a Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain is a hero that could buy Orchid as her first item. Now she's not doing it this game. I clicked on her, and what was she buying? She's gonna go for Agnum's first item, and Agnum's is also quite a bit of damage. But Orchid could have been her first item. We have Pit of Malice that comes out from Underlord. We have Tiny, who has Toss, who has Avalanche. We have Witch Doctor, who has a stun, and we have another mini stun in the Mana Void from Anti-Mage. That's a lot of magical damage. That is a lot of stun opportunities, and oh, here we go. That was not the greatest chrono I've ever seen, but he caught 3 of them. Oh, it's Anti-Mage just managed to come out, so they're making a play on him. He's gonna rotate out. That was a defensive Chronosphere. He managed to get out, and I said it wasn't that great, but it was actually great. He caught the Tiny, he caught the Queen, he caught the Underlord. He just missed the Anti-Mage by a sliver. And here's Tiny, super farmed, has the blink, has the bottle, has the phase boots already, so Tiny is nice and massive. And I'm pretty sure this was actually Tiny mid, not Queen. I kind of didn't pay attention to it. I wasn't really paying attention to what happened there. But yeah, Tiny was definitely mid. He was playing against the Broodmother. Broodmother makes the game a lot more interesting because, you know, it's not a typical type of mid laner that you play around. Typical mid laner can be ganking in other lanes. And this is probably a huge reason that Void didn't make the play towards bottom lane, because there's no way for Broodmother to come this way. Now, if Void was playing with a more typical mid laner, like let's say somebody like an Ember Spirit or a Void Spirit, an Invoker, an Invoker is really good with Void because of the Sunstrike, but anybody who can make plays around the map, we probably would have seen Faceless Void rotate out of this lane and come to the bottom lane to set up a kill on Anti-Mage a lot earlier in this game. Probably with his first or second Chronosphere, to be honest. But because he is playing with a Broodmother, it makes it a lot more difficult. Now, Brood is getting pretty farmed, has the Medallion of Courage, the Diffusal Blade, and is just farming between the jungle camps as she can. and Faceless Void is waiting on his next Chronosphere. So this is what's important. Understanding how to play your hero around your timings. If you are a Faceless Void player and you throw away your Chronosphere, meaning you decide to Chronosphere something that doesn't become an effective chrono, or you whiff it, or you just make a bad play, what you're doing is costing your team like 40 seconds of map control. And let me explain why that makes sense. Right after we see him try to make a play on this, he has 20 seconds before his chrono's up. So how does that make sense? How is it like 40 seconds of map control? Well, typically what you want is a chrono to get at least a kill on one core player. Which core player do you want to kill? In this game, almost for sure you want to kill Anti-Mage with your chrono. Now he actually has it up in 5 seconds, so he's going to start right clicking. If anyone rotates here, he can probably kill the Anti-Mage. So he's looking for him. He knows chrono's up. Now is his time to actually make a play. He sees the blink, and let's see if he can find Anti-Mage. Time walks forward. One hit catches him. There is the ultimate coming out of Nature's Prophet, the ultimate coming out of Zeus, and that's enough damage to kill Anti-Mage. So double ultimates plus one time lock proc were enough to get the kill. And this is what I was talking about, buying you map control. Now, instead of the enemy team being able to control Roche, being able to control their jungle, being able to control your farm, put pressure on your towers, there's 26 seconds on the respawn time of Anti-Mage. Then Anti-Mage is going to teleport somewhere. When Anti-Mage teleports somewhere, that gives you complete control of the parts of the map that you can play on, because you know where their carry is, you know where he went, you know where you want to play aggressively, you know where you want to play defensively. And here Queen of Pain Queen of Pain blinks forward. So this is exactly how you should play this. The the blink forward by Queen of Pain was actually a big mistake. She didn't know that Void was there. Since she blinked forward, Faceless Void was able to time walk forward without being in danger of dying to her. He was able to blink forward, cast his Mask of Madness, and start hitting her without putting himself at risk of dying. Now, if he would have just time walked forward there when she didn't blink forward, she could have just blinked away. He could maybe get a few lucky procs on his time lock, but it's kind of unlucky. So anyways, this continues to give them map control. So from his kill on Anti-Mage to the way that he's playing around here, he now only has about 60 to 70 seconds to wait on his Chronosphere. He does have to play defensively now, but because his Chronosphere was successful, he is able to make plays around the map for the next couple of minutes. And honestly, that's the really big thing about playing Faceless Void, that that people mess up, is they don't use their Chronosphere and they don't play the map correctly after their Chronosphere is successful or potentially unsuccessful. Now he's actually getting gone on right here by the Tiny. Tiny doesn't do enough damage, and you see he doesn't time walk away there. Well, instead of time walking away, he time walks right back on top of the Tiny, undoes all of the damage that came out on him, and they don't manage to kill the Tiny, actually, which is a little surprising. I thought they had that. Tiny is obviously very tanky, and now he's going to get himself in a bit of a rough position. Gonna time walk away and is gonna go farming. You can see that he does have the Iron Talon, really good item, like I mentioned, for Faceless Void. You're going to want to farm your Ancients all the time if you have an Iron Talon. It's like the best item, the best early game item you can find on a safe lane carry. I love it. I think it's super powerful. And now he's gonna use his Midas. Probably should have kept the creep worth more experience alive there, but it's whatever. Let's take a look at net worths in this game, and we see Broodmother is really far up there. Anti-Mage is starting to get pretty far ahead. And Void is going to be going for the BKB next. So the BKB being his third item means that he's not going to be in danger of dying to the tiny Underlord Witch Doctor combo of massive amounts of stuns, like the Cask, the Pit of Malice, the Avalanche, and Toss. Especially if you're stuck in the Pit of Malice, you can stay stuck in there basically forever. And that's just kind of what you got to think about when you're deciding if you're going to go for Manta over BKB, or if you're going to go for a more offensive item like an MKB. Now he will be going for the MKB later on in this game, which I do like, but BKB is going to be first, and that's going to be to keep himself alive. Now that he has Chronosphere alive, not alive, now that he has Chronosphere up, should be looking to play a little bit offensive if he can. However, everyone's missing on the map. So if we look on the mini map, we know only where Anti-Mage is, and that's just because he showed at the top left of the map. But that gives us some knowledge. So since we know where Anti-Mage is, we know that we can play at this bottom part of the map here. Now, here comes Faceless Void trying to get a time lock. Does time walk forward, takes a little bit of damage, and they want to make something happen here. But unfortunately, no fight is going down, so he uses just his Midas again, and he's pretty close to his Black King bar. Now, he's paying attention to where Anti-Mage is. If he can get a Chrono here, he definitely will, but it looks like he's not going to be able to. He does have the global ultimates from Zeus and from Nature's Prophet, so if they find the Anti-Mage, or if Anti-Mage misplays, it's basically a free kill for him. Anti-Mage has to push as aggressively as he can without putting himself in Chronosphere range. If he's ever close enough to Void to get Chronoed, then he basically gets Chronoed, he gets Zeus ultied, and he gets Wrath of Nature on him from Nature's Prophet. And this game, the Nature's Prophet didn't go for an Orchid, is actually going to go for it later, but Nature's is also really dangerous against Anti-Mage because of the ability for Nature's to get the Orchid really early, so that can be a way to play around the map. Now, we just saw an ultimate, and this was a big mistake right here. So, huge mistake by Faceless Void. Let's go back about 10 seconds and just check this out. So, Zeus is going to ulti here. He reveals almost everybody, but there was people missing on the map. He shouldn't have time walked this way because this smoke was just revealed by him time walking forward, and that time walk right there, that is the misplay that gets him killed. That's like a game losing mistake. There's not a lot that you can do. He got smoked on. Sometimes it works out, but he did have the knowledge that people were missing. Zeus ultied, and they only saw 2 people on the map, and that means that the other players on the map absolutely have to be smoked up, so he can't waste his time walk going towards a farming location when his team is playing bottom, when he has vision around here, and he knows that there's 2 heroes showing in the top part of the map. It probably means the rest of the heroes are near that top part of the map. The only good thing is that he still has his Chrono up, so he can make a play when he's alive. He'll also have his BKB? He'll have his BKB in about 600 gold or so. So he's not super upset about it, but he is falling behind in farm to the Anti-Mage, and he's going to want to look to make a play on him at some point. Does get the Midas off. Gets the Midas off, and now you see what Anti-Mage is doing here. Well, this is exactly what Anti-Mage wants to do, which is what Void would want to do if he got a good Chrono. You see how Faceless Void just walked through his whole jungle? Right here, he farmed this camp, but then he came here, wasted his time, came here, wasted his time, came here, wasted his time. Anti-Mage aggressively farmed this whole part of the map, and then backed out defensively before Faceless Void had a chance to catch up to him after he respawned. Perfect play by Anti-Mage, letting himself get farther ahead than Faceless Void by stealing his farm while he's dead. So if you make a good play like that, don't just jump back into your jungle. This Anti-Mage just showed us a really good example of what you should do instead, and that is farm as aggressively as you can while the enemy team's at a disadvantage. And we got 4 people playing bottom here, with Faceless Void still farming his own part of the jungle. Now, the same play that went down last time, let's see what happens and whether or not they are able to survive. He does have vision. He should see that the Tiny is there. Gets gone on, but the BKB arrives just in time. So this BKB was the saving play. We're going to watch this one more time. Slow it down a little bit. So he does see... It's a bit of a replay bug, but he did see the Tiny on his mini-map for a second. Gets gone on. If he didn't get this BKB delivered at this point, Faceless Void was for sure dead. So BKBs, time walks forward, and now he's going to land a 3-person Chrono, allowing him to basically just go off and start hitting these guys. Now, when he's in this chrono, he's going to go for the person he's most likely to be able to kill while in the chrono. And then when chrono is about to wear off, he is going to use his time, or once his Mask of Madness wears off, he'll probably use time dilation. He didn't, but he could have. He was backing away anyway. So, I mean, he dropped everything there. The BKB timing just came out absolutely perfectly for him. They got a bit of an advantage on the play, and now we're going to see him get the kill on Underlord. And let's see if they can kill Tiny. We get the bash out, and now they're going to kill... They kill the Underlord, they kill the Tiny. And what does this let them do? So this beautiful BKB timing allows him to, 1, control the map, 2, get Aegis right now, and I don't know if there's a 3. I mean, 3 is, you know, just continue to get ahead in the game. So we do see Anti-Mage still at top of the net worth, but they can't contest this. They don't have Tiny, they don't have Underlord, they don't want to buy back for it. Anti-Mage is thinking about it. He's thought about it. He thought about jumping in there, but he's just not strong enough. And now Anti-Mage is going for the Eagle Song next. If they click on Anti-Mage, or if they get vision on Anti-Mage, he'll see that Anti-Mage is buying an Eagle Song. And this is actually like the perfect item build for Faceless Void to go, because MKB is the natural counter to the Butterfly. Butterfly gives you evasion. MKB gives you a chance to proc evasion. Now you see he comes forward right there and tries to time dilate him to slow him down a little bit. Doesn't manage to get a kill. Doesn't have chrono up, so he doesn't have kill potential on the Anti-Mage. But he does have an Aegis, which means he can basically farm safely for the next 5 minutes of the game. And with the Aegis, he can not only can he farm more safely, he can farm more aggressively. He obviously doesn't want to burn the Aegis twice, but he can use this as an Aegis to control the whole map. And actually, yeah, let's look at the scoreboard real quick. We see he is 8-1 on Faceless Void right now, and 1-0 on the Brood Mother. So Faceless Void's basically doing the majority of the damage. Gets caught inside of this Pit of Malice with those multiple stuns. That's why you need that BKB a lot of the times. But you see he holds it because he's not too gung-ho to burn his BKB charges. Typically, you want to burn your BKB if you get initiated on the way he did before. And now that they get another kill before his another set of kills before his Chronosphere is back up, just means that they have that much more map control. They can start pressuring towers, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Yeah, Broodmother's going to pressure this tier 2. Anti-Mage, there's not a whole lot you can do about a split pushing Anti-Mage. Like, you don't have enough catch for him. Zeus is going to come back and, you know, force him out. You're going to force him out, but what we're going to see is the Void and his team take control around the map. Now let's take a look at the talent tree. So he did go with the talent tree that I like, the 8 strength, 275 time cast range, but he went for 40 attack speed instead of minus 1.75 second time walk. So I guess he thinks he's going to need that damage or the attack speed, and it kind of makes sense if you're fighting against an anti-mage having the attack speed. I probably would have preferred to see the 1.5 second time walk cooldown. I like it better, especially with the time walk cast range. It lets you get around the map a little bit better, and he has tons of attack speed coming out of his items. But that's just my preference right there. He does have the Demon Edge component of his MKB done, and right now if his team, one thing I don't like is that his team isn't making a ton of smoke plays with him, but like I said earlier, this is a bit of a weird game because you don't have a mid player who's super mobile. You have a mid player who is relegated to where his webs are. So wherever the webs are, that's basically where Broodmother can play, and you would normally have a much more active mid player like a Queen of Pain or an Ember or somebody who can have some kind of mobility around the map. But he is smoked now. This is the smoke play I wanted to see. Who are they trying to catch here? They're going to go for the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain blinks away. There's the ultimate. Ooh. Let's get there. Let's get there. No. Still trying to make a play. Now he's going to look to Midas something. All right, Queen of Pain casting her ultimate. And he is just going to take all his farm instead. So they're doing a really good job dodging Faceless Void there. That was almost a smoke play, almost a nice smoke play. If they could have got something good coming out of that something good coming out of that fight, it would have been really, really nice. Oh, we see a paladin sword get picked up by, who is this? My boy Anti-Mage. Oh, Anti-Mage gets the paladin sword. I thought Faceless Void's team got it. But basically this has become a farming Aegis, but they use this whole Aegis to control the map, and that was all played off of the BKB timing that came out right here. So we had a really good BKB timing, and then we had the Aegis, or the Roche attempt, and then the full map control. So this is where it kind of gets a little tricky as Faceless Void, is when you can't find a good Chronosphere target, you really don't want to waste it. Like, you notice that he had opportunities to use it in this bottom part of the map that he was in, the bottom side of the Radiant jungle, but he didn't waste it on the Queen of Pain. Instead, he's saving it. He really needs to get a core kill with it, and it would be 100% worth. All right, the Aegis expires. It would be 100% worth for him to get a core kill on just one, or a Chronosphere kill on just one core. And actually, I think we're about to see that coming up soon. If Void can get a kill on let's say I would say either the Anti-Mage or the Tiny, it would be super worth it, like a solo kill on one of those heroes, because they no longer have the Aegis. They have the map control is kind of back. Nobody has full control of the map. They're swinging back and forth in terms of who has control of the map. Like the Dire side can't force the Radiant hand right now. If they make a bad play, they'll just die. And here we go. Let's see if Faceless Void makes this play. Comes forward, drops the solo chrono on Tiny. This is what I was talking about. And there is Nature's Prophet coming in. Ooh, where's the detection? They catch him. Okay, check this out. Check this out. This is what I was talking about before in the item preview. How did this Tiny die? Let's talk about it. Free camera. So he does manage to actually escape from this, but look, Nature's Prophet comes in, silences him. He's taking damage while he's soul burned. He also has the Spirit Vessel dropped on top of him. So he's gonna basically just manage to get out of here in time. But the damage that comes from the vessel and the soul burn is gonna be enough to kill him. I thought it was gonna be the soul burn from the Orchid, but it was actually the vessel that ended up killing him. So either way, good play. But the vessel, the Orchid would have given them the potential damage to do, or the potential damage after the silence wore off to kill the Tiny as well. And now that they got the Tiny kill, they do find Underlord on another part of the map. So what they're going to do now is still play aggressive. You see Anti-Mage is top net worth. He's really, really farmed. I mean, it's really hard to out farm an Anti-Mage, but he has the perfect items to play against him. He has the MKB. He's got tons of attack speed. He's got the Black King bar. What's the Roshan timer? I don't know what the Roshan timer is right now, but you can see that they're being kind of closed out on the map. If I go back to Faceless Void's perspective, they're now forcing them like all the way over here. They can't play in their top jungle. They can't really play in their bottom area. They're scared of Zeus ulti. They're scared of Nature's Prophet global teleportation. They know they don't have to worry about Chrono, but so what? And this is awesome. You should be doing, that's a very small but big thing right there. If you have the chance to pop a Clarity, do it in front of the secret shop, because the secret shop means that you don't have any cooldown between going from your backpack to your inventory, and then vice versa. Your items are instantly available. And you see Void right now is watching that fight. Like, he's walking towards the fight, but he's watching it with his hero. So that's something you should be doing as well. If there's a fight happening and all you're doing is walking, you should be watching. Now the time dilation comes off. We're going to see Void try to get the kill on Anti-Mage. Does end up taking a lot of damage here. We'll see if he goes down. Nope, does not go down. And there's no Witch Doctor alive. No Witch Doctor, no Zeus. But that is a BKB charge that was used. So now they have to play kind of defensively. Oh, they find the Tiny. They catch him with everything. And Tiny is dead for 80 seconds. So that is the core Tiny taking tons of damage. We're seeing the net worth on Nature's, on Void, and on Broodmother surpass that of Tiny. and that gives them map control for a long period of time. And they're going to have even more map control because the enemy team is going to know that Chronosphere is up pretty soon. So you can see while Tiny's dead, they have the perfect opportunity to go for Roshan, and they take it right away. I'm pretty sure this time Faceless Void is going to take the cheese instead of the Aegis because he has a lot of survivability on his own. Yep, they put the Aegis on the Broodmother. They give him the cheese, and he's going to go ahead and just keep the map pressure up. The last item he wants to buy here, he's actually going for a defensive item in the Lincoln Sphere. I think that's for... He doesn't want to get casked by the Witch Doctor. I don't know how much I agree with the Lincolns as his last item. I mean, I don't really mind it, but I don't think Lincoln's is the item that he should be buying here. I think he should be buying either more damage based off. Oh, and there's the beautiful Chrono. Check that out. So as he's blinking away, he catches him with the Chrono, and then he hits him with a couple time locks right there at the end, manages to get the kill. And that's just beautiful. I think if anything, Faceless Void should be going for a butterfly into a satanic this game. I think that would probably be the better way to play it out. Eventually selling his Hand of Midas after he gets the butterfly completed, and then buying the satanic. He does have the slot for... Well, actually, he wouldn't even need to sell the Hand of Midas until he gets an item after those two. But that's how I would play it. The status resistance, I feel, is better than going for a Lincoln's. And actually, he is changing his mind. He's going for the damage. He's going for the Daedalus. That I do like. I do like the Daedalus. Bonus damage, bonus critical damage, plus tons of he's already got tons of attack speed. I mean, he is... What's his attack speed right now? 317, hitting every 0.54 seconds. And without the anti-mage here, they're going to look to try to play aggressively. You see him time walk forward right through that right through the Queen of Pain ultimate, the Sonic Wave. And Void and his team are looking to do something aggressive here. If Void makes a mistake soon, it could be the reason that his team loses this game. We'll see if he makes a mistake or not. I don't really remember if he does. But if Void gets caught out by, let's say, the Queen of Pain and Anti-Mage, or there's a lot of stuff he could get caught out by, but if he gets caught out by like another smoke play, or if he mismanages one time walk, he could really mess up here. And this is where people just mess up playing on Void. They'll play over aggressively here. Like, you'll see a Void that's playing this game right here. He'll just time walk into areas of the map that he doesn't know if he can time walk in, just like what I mentioned. But luckily, he's super strong, has the BKB. And actually, he messed up. This is wow, I can't believe he did it right as I was talking about it. Okay, time walking into areas of the map that you can't time walk into. Now, this isn't the worst time walk in the world. You'll see a lot worse, but check this out. He's going to have no time walk to get off of this. So he time walked forward, gets hit by the Abyssal, all his mana burned, has to pop the cheese, has to pop the BKB, and now he's just taking all this damage, still can't time walk forward, popped his Mask of Madness, was silenced for the whole thing, and that's actually such a game-losing play. Like, that's such a game-losing play. He puts himself in a really bad position, and now the enemy team has a chance to completely come back into this game. They have Void dead, they kill the Nature's Prophet, they also managed to kill the Zeus, and it's, you know, Broodmother's super fat, but now Broodmother has to play super defensively for the whole time Void is dead. And Void will have Chrono when he's alive, so that's kind of the saving grace. But like I was saying, you don't want to be doing these time walks when you don't know where the enemy team is. Like, what was the point of time walking from here to here? If he doesn't do that time walk, he gets to pop his BKB and then time walk instead of wasting his cheese. You know what I mean? Like, that time walk forward was... It was a Faceless Void getting overconfident, and you'll see it a lot. You'll see it a lot on Faceless Voids. You'll see a lot of Faceless Voids, especially in low MMRs, who have big leads, completely throw them away making plays like that. Or overestimating their strength, or not being defensive enough. And now we see Anti-Mage is getting really big. They're doing all... Oh man, this is getting ugly. But here we go. Broodmother they're going to be their saving grace. Broodmother trying to take out the Underlord, unable to. Underlord's going to actually TP them out. Broodmother dies. There's the Aegis going down, and they're going to back out of this fight. It looks like, unless they're not, they're going to toss Broodmother back. The silence coming out, so there is no toss. And Void's alive again, so they got to be careful. They got to be really careful here. Tiny's going to get away. No, he's not. Yes, he is. All right, everyone manages to get away. They're fine. So let's see how our boy Faceless Void's living now. Is thinking about going back for the Lincoln Sphere. Since Anti-Mage has the Abyssal, Lincoln's isn't so bad. He actually is holding on to the Quickening Charm. I'm a little bit surprised they gave the Quickening Charm to him instead of Zeus. I would prefer to see these items swapped around. Oh no, he's not holding on to it. I'd prefer to see either the Faceless Void with probably the Orb of Destruction, to be honest. But I mean, it is what it is. And now this game that Faceless Void's kind of been dominating in is definitely losable because Anti-Mage is huge. We've got level 25s. We got the backtrace damage or the backtrace talent on Void, and we're going to see a smoke play come out here. So let's see what they're able to find. Witch Doctor coming forward. There is a Chrono on 2. Now, not the best Chrono in the world, but if they can kill Underlord and they can kill Witch Doctor, they're not in a bad spot. Now they're going to go high ground with this because they have the double damage. So no Chrono available for 145 seconds at this point, but they the Anti-Mage and the Tiny and the Queen alone can't take them on. They don't know that they don't have buybacks here, so actually if Witch Doctor and Underlord had buybacks, this would be a pretty rough fight, but instead they're just going to give up the tower or there we go, everything going down on the Broodmother, but Broodmother does get the BKB off. BKB silences hexes, uses her insatiable hunger, and they manage to turn that around, so they get a bunch of core kills right there, and that's actually probably going to be the game. Anti-Mage is still alive, super fat with the Eye of Scotty as well. Has tons of last hits and denies. They're going to get the kill on the Nature's Prophet, it looks like. Comes forward, time dilates, and Anti-Mage is trying to chase him down. They turn it around here, catching Anti-Mage with pretty much everything. There's the silence, some right-click damage coming out. They managed to kill the Queen of Pain again, and here is Witch Doctor throwing down all of his mighty magic. And they kill the Anti-Mage as well. That will be the game. So, pretty interesting game there. We saw a lot of really cool stuff. I do want to stress again that you want to play a little bit more aggressively around your level 6, 7, 8 timings when you're Faceless Void if you have a more aggressive mid player. But for this game, we learned a lot of good lessons, and I think we also learned a few things about how not to last in under tower and how not to time walk forward and get yourself killed and almost cost your team the game. But hey, it worked out. Faceless Void came out 12, 2, and 10. Had a pretty good game overall. Not bad.